Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are in the world. I'm here live in London doing the nighttime devotion from the devotional conflict and courage. The title today, A Voice of Gladness. It's looking for Philippians 4, verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say, rejoice. The great apostle Paul was firm where duty and principle were at stake. But courtesy was a marked trait of his character, and this gave him access to the highest class of society. Paul never doubted the ability of God or his willingness to give him the grace he needed to live the life of a Christian. He does not live under a cloud of doubt, groping his way in the mist and the darkness of uncertainty, complaining of hardship and trials. A voice of gladness, strong with hope and courage, sounds all along the line down to our time. Paul had a healthful religious experience. The love of the Christ was his grand theme and the constraining power that governed him. When in the most discouraging circumstances, which would have had a depressing influence upon halfway Christians, he is firm of heart, full of courage and hope and cheer. The same hope and cheerfulness is seen when he's upon the deck of the ship, the tempest beating about him, the ship going to pieces. He gives orders to the commander of the ship and preserves the lives of all on board. Although a prisoner, he is really the master of the ship, the freest and happiest man on board. When before kings and dignitaries of the earth, who held his life in their hands, he quailed not, for he had given his life to God, and it was hid in the Christ. He softened by his courtesy the hearts of these men in power, men of fierce temper, wicked and corrupt, though they were in heart and life. Propriety of deportment, the grace of the true politeness, and marked all his conduct. When he stretched out his hand, as was his custom in speaking, the clanking chains caused him no shame or embarrassment. He looked upon them as tokens of honor and rejoiced that he could suffer for the word of God and the testimony of Jesus. His reasoning was so clear and convincing that it made the profligate king tremble. Grace, like an angel of mercy, made his voice heard sweet and clear, repeating the story of the cross, the matchless love of Jesus. A voice of gladness. So this is focusing on Paul, and no matter what he had to go through, he was ever confident in the words he was speaking with boldness, clarity, and as is said here, courtesy. He was always courteous. He knew how to talk to everyone, no matter what class, kings, dignitaries, or the common man. And it says, when before the kings and dignitaries who held his life in their hands, he didn't shake or worry because he's already given his life to God. But he softened their hearts by his temperament, his courtesy, and just the way his deportment, how he held himself, how he spoke. In life, no matter who you're talking to, and no matter how their approach, to speak with love, to speak kindly, to not match if they're angry or if they're aggressive or if they're whatever. Don't match that. You don't have to. Remain calm, composed, and you'll always deflect what they're projecting. And this is what Paul did. When Paul was preaching, he was doing it with love, and he was meeting their eye, giving them eye contact. He never doubted the ability that God gave him, his willingness, God's willingness to give him the grace he needed to live the life of a Christian. And this is also what we must pray for and live to be.